Hi.
I think we're live.
I think we're live. So
We're going to give it a few minutes before people to get on board with us, so they can arrive. And what are we doing today?
Well, today we are going to talk about how to create your magnetic life. And how we are going to do that is we're going to share some really amazing tips that we've received from our millionaire mentor.
Yeah. In fact, our millionaire mentor has been through quite a process himself.
Yep.
And I'll be introducing you to him. He's not here, but I'll be telling you about him in a little bit. But he's gone through quite a process in his own life. And part of that process is where now he is on track with the thing that he loves the most and he's most passionate about. And it's really a culmination of I'd say about the last 12 years of his life, because he started his journey when he was about 18 years old. Yeah. And so now what he's doing really just lined up with what we were working on so well. And he is creating a program called Magnetic Mindset, and whereas our program is Magnetic Lifestyles. And so that's just really exciting kind of alignment. And when we met Chris, it was just like an instant knowing of that, yes, we all belong together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something that Mark and I have experienced in our relationship as well, is that when there is that really immediate connection, there's just this deep knowing that it is the right thing, and it is what needs to happen right then and there. And so when we have other experiences beyond what we experienced when we first met, and we meet other people, or we meet programs, or we meet information, it really just lights us up.
And he has brought to us elements that were kind of like, for me, I was putting this puzzle together, but I didn't have all the pieces.
Yeah.
And it feels like he has brought all the pieces that I didn't have together.
Yeah.
And that is then how relationships work, and that's how they should work, is that instead of in a relationship, with another time we'll do a video about belonging to, because that's a monogamous mindset thing, that I want to belong.
Right.
And instead of being part of, because being part of means that, just like in our relationship, you bring things to me, I bring things to you. And for our relationship with our mentor, and what he's also creating, he is we are then known as the dynamic duo. And as the dynamic duo, then we are able to take and bring a different perspective to his program and contribute to what he's doing in a great way as well.
Absolutely.
But why don't we go ahead and get started?
Awesome. So welcome, Magnetic Freedom Seekers. We're so glad that you're here and joining us. And if you're watching us on the replay, we thank you for watching the replay as well. And we are going to tell you a little bit about creating your magnetic life. And how that comes about is by finding your true choice. And in choosing your true life and your true choice, that helps you to create your authentic life. So we have a few questions, kind of engaging questions for you. And the first one is, have you ever felt like you were meant for something bigger? You ever felt that way?
And the other thing is why do we all not have exactly what we want? We get out of high school and maybe get out of college, and we're full of dreams and ambition, and we start casting our nets, and a lot of times, I know like mine, those nets came up empty. And after a while, casting those nets and having them come up empty, I just stopped casting them. And I think that that's pretty common. And so, I would say, well, I still am going after my life, but it was the little things and not playing big. And one of the things with us, like what we're doing here today, and I am trying to remember to keep looking this way, because I just always want to look at her, And so, but we are learning through this process ourselves to play big on a bigger stage so that we can work as a dynamic duo in being able to take and help you create a life of magnificence that is your life. Because that's the process that I have been through for quite a while now, is creating my life. And then I brought that along to her when we got in our relationship, and she just like loved it. And so she has totally changed and transpired her life. And so that now she has a life of freedom instead of a life that she just gets up and kind of goes and does. That's what most of us do.
Yeah. And one of the key pieces of this is that anything that you do in life that you want to have success in, success is structural. It's not personal. That's one of the big things I learned, which we're not, that's not even one of the 3 things that we're going to share, but one of the big things I've learned from our Millionaire coach is success is structural, that there's a structure to create success. And it's not about me as a person. It's not about my value as a human being. It is truly about following the structure so that I can create the success that I want to have in my life.
Whether that is in your health, or whether that in health and wellness, or whether that be in wealth, or be it in your relationships and sex life.
That's right.
You know, it's just all a structure, but we all want to make it personal though. And you know, when you look at people that are truly successful though, they're just really not any different than you are. They didn't then do all this stuff to get where they're at. You know, I got to fix myself first. They just went out and did it. And so one of the things that we're going to be introducing yourselves to is how to be letting go of some things so that you can create the life that you desire. And, you know, we're not taught these things. And these are things that our millionaire mentor has taught us. And it's how to develop a magnetic life where you attract the things to your life that you want, and then you're able to let go of the things that you don't want. Now, let me tell you a little bit about our mentor. His name is Chris Duncan. He's in Australia, and he, at the age, when he was like around 18, 19 years old, he grew up in New Zealand. He lives in Australia now, but he grew up in a middle-class average home and a working-class house. And then he went off and attended a Tony Robbins seminar. And that was why he had a scholarship to play basketball, I believe it was, in college. And so, because he was a good basketball player, so he had a scholarship, so that got him in college. He went off to a Tony Robbins seminar, and that was a transformative event for him. He completed his college, and after that, then he actually went to work for Tony Robbins, and he moved here to the U.S. and to San Diego. And from there, by the age of 22, he had become a millionaire, and he's now in his 30s. But he had become a millionaire, and then his work with Tony Robbins and being a millionaire and successful, and the things that he was doing and helping people to improve their lives allowed him to attract into his life a group of 8 of the 10 wealthiest billionaires in Texas. One of those billionaires became his personal coach. And so the things that we're sharing with you today are going to be things that billionaire that was Chris's coach shared with him, and now he has shared these things with us. And we just thought that they were transformative, and so we wanted to teach them and share them with you.
Yeah. So I think it's good that we introduce ourselves at this point. So I am Badass Cat, and you are?
I'm Non-Monogamous Mark.
And we are the co-creators of Magnetic Lifestyles. Magnetic Lifestyles is a transformational company designed to help you create your best authentic life, whatever that may be.
Now, in the process of that, we use a process that Chris Duncan has spent the last 10 years of his life developing. And this is a process that is on the cutting edge of the research that is being done about how the brain functions. And it's a process that's called superconscious rapid recode. And we're going to be telling you more about that later today or in this video. But just briefly, that allows you to get over those hurdles in your life. You know, you keep casting that net out there and it keeps coming back empty. And after a while, you just stop casting it because you develop a belief system. I guess I'm just not meant to be successful. You know, and so we have these belief systems and we have these barriers in our life that are mental and different kinds of barriers that hold us back from really having all that we want in life. And so this process that Chris has pioneered, and he's learned it from other people in Australia, but he's pioneered it. And now we are pioneering this process in the United States because we are among one of the very few, less than 10 people in the United States that are developing this in the United States, and at one point it'll be very huge in the United States.
Yeah, and so we've been certified in his process. So, and we're really excited because at the end of our video, we have some free gifts that we want to share with you. So please stay to the end so you can find out how to get your free gifts.
You're going to want the free gifts too. They are really wonderful gifts. So let's get on with it now because we're going to go through three things that our mentor, millionaire mentor, Chris, has taught us and that his billionaire mentor has taught him.
So what's number one, Mark?
The first one is to go for what you love in life.
All right, keep going.
You know, go for what you love in life. You know, a lot of us, we grow up and we've heard, maybe you have heard like I have, is you've got to have a big why. And, you know, when you go for what you love in life, you don't need a why because you are living your life, your why. But the reason that we're taught we need this big why is because what we're taught, everything we're taught is about pushing towards our goal. And you need momentum and you need motivation. And so that motivation, it takes a big why to get you motivated. And that's not how magnetic theory works at all. And so we're going to be teaching you some different things in that. Now, how most people end up creating their lives is either by trying to, one, solve a problem. And so they take and try to solve the problem and they go off in that direction. Or two, they're trying to get away from something that they don't want, and they're trying to get away from it. Or three, in order they'll create their life because they need and want validation. That was certainly I'll tell you more about that here in a little bit. But so instead of focusing on the end result that you want to create in your life, what you absolutely love, then you are either trying to solve a problem, or you're trying to get validation, or you're trying to get away from something.
Yeah. And that was certainly kind of where my adult life experience ended up. I was trying to move away from things that were happening in my childhood. I was looking for that validation. And that was why I ended up getting married to the person that I ended up marrying when I was in my early 20s, because there was some feeling of validation, even though there was negative validation in it, it still was a level of validation that was familiar to me. And so I took and created that and built that into my life. And then as that relationship continued on, I realized I can't keep going in this relationship. It really is too painful. And now I need to get away from it. And so there was this kind of push and pull, of I started in one direction and now this totally didn't go where I wanted it to go. And I have to get away from it.
You know, and as you were talking, I just had this thought that just popped in. It was very interesting that, you know, you got into your relationship wanting that validation, and yet that is really what created the problems in your relationship. Interestingly enough, for me, I got into my marriage in my early 20s because I was just flat out horny, and my Christian religion said that you stay a virgin until you're married. And so I wanted to find somebody that I thought I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, but that I could start having sex.
So you were solving a problem.
And so I was solving a problem, you know, and that's exactly how these things happen. And yet then for me, sex became the problem that always stayed there. I mean, we did all kinds of things, which I go into other videos on it, but it never got fixed. And your validation never came and soothed you.
No, not at all. No, so, it became very painful.
And so the thing is, though, is that we want a lot of things in our life. So when you talk about creating a life and going for what you love, well, we love lots of things. And so, like, how do you really do that? Because, you know, you would have said, well, I went for what I love, and I would have said I went for what I love, you know. But in reality, it wasn't our true desire.
Right.
And so it's really important to start to understand and know what your true desire is. Just an example of this. I used to ride motorcycle and had a big old 1100cc Suzuki, towed a motorcycle trailer behind me and blared away the tunes. And I had a great time. Went out as often as I could riding with my motorcycle buddies. But over 20 years, my motorcycle buddies were headed all the same direction that I was headed, and with our health. And that was where, even though we were doing what we love, we were having a great time out there. But after a while, when your health declines, how good of a life can you truly have? And I came to that realization. And I actually came to that realization when I entered my non-monogamous life, because I realized that, wait a minute, I had gained 110 pounds. And I wasn't heading in the direction of ability. I was heading in a direction where I was able to do less in my life. And I wanted to turn that around. And so I had to sit back and think then, what is my true desire here? And for me then, the first thing became about getting to my life where I had ability in my life and not disability. Because when I became non-monogamous, I decided that when I was 80 years old, I wanted to be having sex and have it be better quality and longer sex and more sex partners than I ever had back in my 30s.
Nice.
And so for me to do that, I couldn't be moving in the direction of disabled.
That's right.
I had to move in the direction of ability.
Yeah.
And so you can find your true desire by starting to ask some simple questions. That one of the things that we're going to be telling you about is our mastermind group, and called Foundation to Freedom. And with that, we can help you to really narrow down and find those true desires.
Yeah. So one exercise that you can do to start this process now is to think about and visualize what would be your perfect day or your perfect week. But to really think in terms of possibility, think in terms of, what is it that I want? Not that I'm trying to solve something or get away from something or that I need to feel something, but just truly for the love of having and doing and being whatever this is. That's where we start. And it's not necessarily about living for the weekend or living for a vacation or, trying to live for that paycheck, whatever it is, but to really find, what is it that if I could live this day, I could live this day every day, regardless of how much money I make, regardless of what's happening in my life. This is where I want to live. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to experience. And I can give a quick example. I was just on a call with one of my clients, and I was sharing that this is my perfect day, and I live it every day. I live in absolute paradise. I have a schedule that I create, and I get to do the things that I want to do. I have a beautiful partner and other partners in my life that I absolutely enjoy. And I'm increasing my health. My health is continuing to improve and to grow. And there's all these different pieces. I have all these things, and it is what I truly desired. And this is something 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was like a pipe dream. It really was that dream. And now I'm living it. I'm absolutely living it. And I would continue to live this day in this way, regardless of having millions, regardless of having, no money, whatever it is. This is how I want to live. And so really think about, how do I want to live, regardless of that.
Chris's Billionaire mentor took him through this exercise, and it's one of the exercises that we take people through when they join our mentoring or our mastermind group. And we take them through this because it's so important. And part of what we take them through is to find your 6 key words. And I have a training online for that, and I'm going to be updating the training here, doing a more detailed training as well. But when you find your 6 key words, and I shared this when I did that training a couple years ago, I shared that with Kat, and we have both learned to live by our 6 key words. One of the things then, as Chris went through this exercise with his Billionaire mentor, and he says, well, think about your perfect day. And he just thought, oh man, I'd be in a jet going around, And the thing is that we do find that we have a tendency of really making our life complicated. And then he noticed that these 8 billionaires that he got to know very well in Texas, that they had simple lives. And so it's not about all the stuff.
No.
And so you start to find that when you really just start to imagine that, and after a while you start to clarify.
Yep. All right.
Well,
so
but in the process with this, though, I want you to know that you're going to go through some transition and some periods of adjustment, and because you're going to need to correct, maybe you won't, but I certainly did need to make some corrections in your life, and you're basically going to untangle your current life from where you're wanting to go, because there may be people in your life or there are things in your life. It took me 3 years to untangle my life. And I've been through that process, which just finished now about 6 months ago. But it took me 3 years to go through that process when I started to realize, wait a minute, I can't get where I'm going to go because my life is so tangled up in my current reality. Right. And so one of the things that we will help you do in our mastermind group is we help you to take and start untangling your life. But just want you to know it takes some time to do that.
So the second thing that we want to share that our Millionaire mentor taught us is to be it now. So we need to be it now. Be it now. And what that means is the only thing that we have is the moment. There is no past. The past doesn't exist anymore. It's done. And the future is only a series of nows. So when we project out into the future, sure, we can think about what we might have or what we might do or how we might feel. But in reality, all we have is right now. And so part of Be It Now is learning how to love and accept and embrace everything that we have right now. So one of the things that we have learned is if you take and look at a seed has everything it needs to grow into a forest. Not just one tree, but a whole forest. And that seed knows that it is that forest. Everything that it contains has the ability to create that forest, and it knows it. So we're like that seed where we have the ability to create our amazing lives, our magnetic life, and we have everything right now. And it's not always a matter of having to get something or to be somewhere or to change something in order to receive. It's how do we take it now? We are it now. And the abundance that we have in our lives is tremendous. And we have to just be able to see it. I mean, if you're watching this video right now, when you think about the abundance that it takes for you to be watching this video, you need to have a computer, you need to have an internet connection, you need to have the resources that got you all those things. You probably have a roof over your head, you have plenty of food on the table, you have means and resources for the things that you desire. How much abundance is that? Be it now, enjoy that now, and we can still have dreams, we can still have desire, we can still want for something more. But if we don't be it now, if we don't embrace what is here and now, then we can't ever actually create what we want in the future. And that's actually one of the universal laws that will help teach you and help you move through so that you can create your magnetic life.
And so then the third point is to get help.
Yes.
In getting help, the idea here is that you want to find the lane that you belong in. The lane that, it's like a fish in water, just flows through that water. Monkeys are made to climb trees. When you watch them, they're just like pulling through there so free and easy. Yeah. And that's the whole idea here, is that when you get the right help, then you're able to take and start to create that life that just flows and you find your lane. Now it takes a while to find that lane sometimes, you know. I mean, when we started out trying to find our lane, you know, it's taken a while, some transitions and adjustments, you know, but we have found our lane then. And it really goes back a couple of years ago. If you watch the videos I've made over the last couple of years, it's all right there. And so when you start to then just move in the direction of where your big picture, where you want to go magnetically, then you will find that lane. And then it's just a process of being able to move in that lane and stay in that lane and be in that lane. And so that's what we have done. And in order to do that, though, you need to learn how to protect your energy. You know, we talk a lot about energy being your words, your thoughts, and your feelings. And so you need to protect that energy. And how you do that is by getting the right help. You know, that's where as people, they start out not having money, but then as they start making money, then they hire the right people in their lives. And that's a key factor here is getting the right people on board first. And the first thing that comes along is a need for a coach oftentimes. And so that's where our program, our magnetic lifestyles program, it's a mastermind program, is they're designed to help you, to coach you, so that every step along the way you're making progress. You know, and then, but here's an interesting quote that I just want to read that Chris shared, and I thought it was amazing. It was what one of his billionaire mentors shared with him. Rich people spend money to save their time and energy to get help. Poor people save their money and spend their time and energy. Oh boy, I certainly related to that.
I do too.
And so we want to help you to break free from that and start living this magnetic life. And one of the steps then is to realize that, yeah, you got to get some help. You know, like we have a goal right now to get some housekeeping help. And even though we have a small place, but someone to do the housekeeping and go grocery shopping and do some, running around doing some errands and chores and cooking and things like that.
Yeah.
And so these are the kinds of things that will help to direct you so that you can start to find your lane and swim in that lane and have this freedom, because the process of creating a successful life is that you will start to attract more money and more opportunities for money so that you can keep hiring more people.
Absolutely. And one of the things that is so important to know about all of this is that your reality is based on what you believe is possible. And if you believe all of this, you believe that you can actually create your true desire, that you can actually be it now, and that when you get the help you need, you can really focus on what it is that is your authentic life, your message, your purpose for being on this planet, because everybody has one. Then you create the reality of what it is that you truly desire. And so many times we have created our lives, because we've all created the life that we currently have. Whatever it is that we have, we've created through childhood, through experience, through all these different things. Whatever we've created is all based on what we actually believe is possible. And so when you really break it down and think about, what do I believe is possible? If you know about Roger Bannister, he broke the 4-minute mile. And up until that point in time, everybody said, it's impossible. There is no way a human being can run a mile in under 4 minutes. Well, finally, somebody did it. And the most interesting thing about it is that shortly after he did it, 3 other people did it too. And now high school kids are breaking that 4-minute mile on a regular basis. It's all because someone said, I don't believe that's impossible. I know I can do that. I know I can create that. I know this is where I can go. I mean, even again, looking at the technology that we have today, people didn't think this was possible 50 years ago, even 30 years ago. We were just on the cusp of our technological breakthroughs. And now here we are, in real time, and creating this stuff, and we've got people watching in real time. This is amazing. This would have been impossible, but somebody thought impossibility. So when you think impossibility, you can create your reality.
We've seen amazing technological breakthroughs, and like last night, we watched a NOVA program on black holes. It was amazing what's going on, what science is doing in researching. It really is amazing. But yet, what breakthroughs do you have in your own life, you see? And that's really what this super conscious rapid recode process is all about. Is doesn't have to take you a ton of money and time. Like sometimes you go to therapy and things like that, it just keeps going on and on and on year after year. And so one of the things, though, that is important for you to first start out as a foundation with is to realize that if you don't have something in your current reality, that doesn't have to define your future. If I threw the net out there and didn't get any fish, and so after a while I just gave up, that's then my current reality is that I'm no longer fishing. That doesn't mean that has to define my future.
That's right.
That just means I have to figure something out here, depending upon what my true desire is. If I want to be a fisherman, then I just have to learn how to do that, figure that out. And it's structural, it's not personal.
That's right.
And so your past does not equal your future.
No. And so we started off with one of the questions as, why do we not all have exactly what we want? And part of the reason that we don't all have exactly what we want is we have these belief systems and belief stories and experiences that happen to us in very early childhood that have created blockages in our ability to move forward as adults. And a lot of this is things that we are not even aware of that are impacting our lives. And so there's this process that we help you go through, the rapid recode process plus other processes that we use in our coaching programs, is how to help you let go of these things that are no longer serving you. And that's a big difference than fixing yourself or getting away from something. There's a process that we use to help you let go of the things that no longer serve you so that you can then step into creating your magnetic life.
And Kit, I hope you're still on, because I just want to go ahead and you asked about our opinions on Brexit. This is a perfect example of creating our lives. One of the decisions that we made in creating our life is that we're going to focus on what goes on in our life. And so it's like we don't focus on really things that go on outside of our life that we have no control over. We just allow those things to flow because we want to get into our lane and focus on what helps us to thrive in our life.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of where our opinion is on Brexit, is we really don't have an opinion. Okay.
No, in fact, I don't even know what that is.
That's the England thing separating from the UK. Okay.
I don't watch the news.
She doesn't watch the news. Yeah.
So, sorry.
But we're going to talk then about structural conflict.
Yeah.
And we're going to erase the board here real quick. And go ahead. And Kat's going to then tell you about structural conflict, because what most of us create, as we've mentioned, is that success really is structural, not personal. But most of us make it personal, and we create conflict in the structure. Whereas if you just follow the structure, it's like getting in the car and going from point A to point B and have a nice smooth ride.
Right.
And so Kat's going to go ahead then and tell you a little bit about creating some structure.
Awesome. So the first thing in creating our magnetic life is we have a desired result. So we call that our DR, our desired result. And we have this idea of what it is that life would be like, how we really want to feel and live our lives, like I said before, kind of creating that perfect day. So we take that and we create that over here. And now that's different than our current reality, our CR. Our current reality is over here. And this is where we're living right now. And this is all based on the experiences and belief systems that we have created up until this point. So as we want to move forward, we want to move towards this desired reality. there's pieces of us down here in our identity. Our identity is what actually created our current reality. So
I'm no good as a fisherman.
There's a direct link between how we see ourselves, how we define ourselves, and the current reality that we have. One of the clear examples that we'll share that I think we both have had, that our mentor also had, was that we all came from working class families. Mm-hmm. So we have a working class employment mentality and identity that says you're supposed to work a job
and work hard
and work hard to get ahead and get what you want. So that then defines the current reality of where we are. And in Chris's example, as he started to move towards his desire to become a millionaire, he actually attained being a millionaire at the age of 22, but then guess what? He lost it.
And that's not unlike what we do. It happens in our life is that we end up coming back to our current reality because that's where our identity is. It's like an anchor that holds us down here.
Yeah. So while we want to move towards our current reality, we are pulled back into where we are and away from where we want to be. And there seems to be this line, right? I don't know, about here, where once we start to cross this line, that identity kicks in and says, nope, you can't go there. You have to stay here. And things will happen. You might end up losing a job. You might end up having, health issues. There may be all kinds of things that will circle you back in to your current reality. And so what we end up doing is we get into this oscillating pattern, back and forth, where we're trying to reach the desired reality and we get pulled back. We keep going and we get pulled back. We keep going and we get pulled back. And that gets exhausting.
You see this all the time in relationships.
All the time in relationships. And part of this says that we have to resolve the problems. There must be a problem if I can't reach my desired goal. So now I have to fix something. Something's broken. Something isn't working. And so I have to fix this problem, which ends up fixing your identity, because it's the identity that's the anchor that is holding you down, that is not letting you move forward. So now this is where the self-development world comes in, where everybody's, you've got to do all these works. You've got to go to NLP. You've got to go to more education. Go to, do all these things because
counseling, therapy.
It's the identity that seems to be broken, when in reality it's not. It's just a structure. So what we end up doing is we end up avoiding the things that we really want, because we get into that pattern and it just becomes this self-sabotaging pattern.
Or the relationships we want, the sex we want, the health we want, the wealth.
So we end up avoiding the things that we really want, and we keep feeding energy into what we already have. Mm-hmm. And so this is the structure that we help you let go of so that you can actually move directly from your current reality into your desired reality.
Now, if you've ever felt that you were somehow meant to play on a bigger stage and that you knew that there was just something missing, though, then that's where our mastermind group comes in. And Kat's going to tell you about some resources that are available to you, and also those free bonuses that we told you at the beginning that we're going to be giving away for free for anybody who sticks around to the end. As they are a great bonus. So go ahead.
Excellent. So we have our Foundations to Freedom Mastermind group. And this is where we take you through the processes that we've talked about here today. We have a 16-week very specific coaching program, but we take you through a whole year process, because we really want to make sure that you get all the support that you need to make the shifts of letting go.
Keep moving this way, not coming back.
Right. We want to break that oscillating pattern. And in that process, we help you focus on the 4 key areas of life, which are your wellness, your wealth, your relationships, and your sex life. And we are really excited that as part of this process, we have tapped into our mentor's program, Magnetic Mind, and he has this amazing process called a rapid recode that we've mentioned. And the first thing that we want to offer is that if you are interested in having the support that you need, because there's 3 key areas that take to really make a change in your life, and that's having a system, which is our program, having a community, which we're building, and having the coaching and the support that you get individually. So we're offering you a free 30-minute magnetic lifestyle session where we're going to speak with you on the phone and go over all the things that you are desiring that you want to have, look at where some of your roadblocks are. We'll give you a hot tip of how to get started, and then we'll see if we're a good fit to continue working together. So that's $189 value that you get for free. And we're also offering a free rapid recode session with our mentor. It's a $99 value, and it's this Wednesday evening. If you're on the Pacific Coast, it's at 5.
At 4 o'clock, I believe.
It's never at 4. It's usually 5.
I believe, at 4 o'clock
Okay.
this week.
Well,
on Wednesday.
whatever.
But if it's not,
It's
when you
in the
sign
link.
up for it, you'll find out
You'll
what time
find out
it
what
is. in
time
your
it
zone.
is. There's a link, so catch the link.
And the thing is that even if you can't be available at that time, sign up for it anyway, because these rapid recode sessions work as good. You have the same experience doing it on the recorded session as you will in the live session.
Absolutely.
And so sign up for that for $99, and you'll experience what the rapid recode is, where you'll actually experience having a breakthrough in one small area of your life.
Yes.
You choose the area, and Chris is going to lead you through. It's a 1-hour session, and Chris is going to lead you through so that you experience having a breakthrough, and we want you to experience this. He charges $99 for these sessions. He usually does 100 to 200 people in a group at a time. You'll see how it all works, but go ahead and click on that link down there so you get your free session, and even whether you get it live or, because when you get it live, the benefit there is that you get to interact with Chris, because he will chat with you and interact with you and personally, and so you get to interact with him.
Excellent. And then the last thing is if you decide to jump into our mastermind program, you will also get, as one of the bonuses for that program, a free 2-day live event with Chris in San Diego. And this is a program that will absolutely blow your mind, to spend 2 full days with Chris.
Tickets are $590, and if you join our mastermind program, you know, you're going to get not 1 but 2 tickets. So if you want to take a friend or take a because Kat and I are both part of the program, and so she gets to take somebody with her, and I get to take someone with me, and so she's going to take a young man that we're kind of friendly with, and we're taking a friend, and so it's just great. But so you're going to get 2 tickets for free. So you can take your significant other, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your friend, somebody you hang out with. You can take someone with you. And once you learn more about this, you'll be learning about it between now and the next couple of months. If you join our mastermind, and as you learn more about it, you'll know that, yes, I want to be there in San Diego. It's going to be a life-changing experience.
Yep, and we will be there for sure as well. So those are our big bonuses, and we're so glad that you stayed with us.
So like I said, that those links for those bonuses are down there in the description. So grab those out of there today and get signed up for those two items. But then there's some other links down there too. One is to sign up for a email list that we have for Non-Monogamous Lifestyles Association. It's our nonprofit business where we help people to create the sexy lives that they desire to live the most. And the other then is there's another link down there for a program where you can totally end your struggles with your weight. And it doesn't mean your weight's going to fall off you overnight, but it's just a pound or 2 every week, and you'll be losing the weight, but you won't be having to struggle to do it. You won't be having to go on a diet to do it or be exercising to do it. And so there's a link in there telling you about that, so you can click on that. And then another link is, we know that a lot of people don't have the same maybe ability, because I've been in self-employed, a business person all my life. Before Kat met me, she kind of wanted to be a businesswoman, but she had no idea how to do that.
Wow.
And so there's a link down there for a company providing you with, it's one of the most amazing opportunities today on being able to take and start a business from home, get all the training and coaching and help and mentoring that you possibly would need. And so you can click on that link to find out more as well. Well, we thank you for watching this video with us today, and you just have a great day and create a life that you love.
We'll see you next time.